Oh, welcome to today's meditation time. I hope that you have had wonderful days leading up to this moment, and that somewhere along the path you have found a little bit of rest, a little bit of restoration. And so as we gather here now, let's just settle in. And whether you are lying down or you are seated, you find a position that feels good. And then once you get in it, just gently close your eyes. And just notice, how do you feel after a busy weekend or a day of chores or things on your list that never seem to run out? Just see how you feel in this moment. And then just honor the fact that you've shown up. And I'd like for us to begin with some common breath together. So let's just settle in and just kind of protect the space around each of us individually and around us collectively. And let's do it by uniting the breath. So very slowly start to take a breath in, and very slowly let it go. And again, very slowly choose that breath as it comes in. And then very slowly let it go. One more like that. Just as slowly take the breath in. And exhale, let it go. And your rate of breath may be a little slower than that. It may be a little faster. But let your goal across these next several breaths that you take to find some balance between your in breath and your out breath. Maybe you pause right at the top before you let it go. Maybe not. But again, find the rhythm that works for you. And as we settle in just a bit more, I've been studying a lot lately the impact of meditation, the research behind what we do, the benefits that this practice brings to us. And through this study, I have to pause again and again and just be so grateful for this long lineage that has brought this practice to us today in 2023. We are so incredibly fortunate to have these mindful practices at a time in our world when it is so very necessary. And so I would just ask you just to ask yourself, what brings me here? What brings me to this guided meditation time collectively together? What brings me to my quiet time on my own? Why? Why have I chosen to make this a part of my regular practice? And each of our list of our why would be unique to us. But I have a feeling that the undercurrent of all of our list has something to do with the peace that we so desire in our lives. We know it is there. We know it's accessible. We just have to put things in place in our patterns and our habits that help us to access it. And that's why we're here in this moment. And so for these minutes that we're going to share, I want to just grab on to the energy of this full moon that was up in the sky last night. It changes the vibrational quality of things around us, whether you know it or not. Chances are you have felt it. Energy is high, but it's also sometimes a little prickly, right there on the edge of your skin. And so what I'd like for us to do tonight is just reflect on some of the reminders that this lunar cycle gives us. It's predictable. Every 28 days or so, it's repeating, it's waxing, it's waning, it's dark, it's light. But the one lesson that it always teaches is a lesson of release and a lesson of filling up. Because even though last night was this incredible, fully lit moon, What we know is that in the nights to follow, the light will begin to be released. Something will get in the way, and the light will be hidden a little more each night, until all of a sudden in about 28 days we look up and we can't see it. But then the very next day after that, the light begins to come again, filling up. And so there's a lot of things that nature can teach us. But I think the greatest lesson on this day right now, as this new week begins, is a lesson of letting go and filling up. And so we're going to spend these next couple of minutes just going through a practice of letting go. And so I'll just say some things that I think might apply to most of us, things that we potentially need to let go of. And then we'll sit and we'll breathe for just a tiny bit, and then we'll start filling ourselves up, so that we'll start this week off filled with light and filled with goodness. So just allow yourself just to settle in again, sitting or lying down. Just get comfortable. And maybe you'll repeat the words that I say as I pause. Maybe you'll just let my words just linger there with you. You do what feels right. But if your mind starts to wander, the best way to remember that we are letting go is focus on the breath out. Each time you breathe out, breathe your attention back to the space we're sharing. So tonight, in these moments, I choose to let go of lingering stories in my mind that do not serve me well. I choose to let go of lingering stories in my mind that do not serve me well. In this moment, I choose to let go of making others comfortable at my own expense. Here in this moment, I choose to let go of making others comfortable at my own expense. I choose to let go of the things at home and at work that are not mine to control. I choose to let go of the things at home and at work that are not mine to control. I also choose to let go of this need and this desire to be perfect. I choose to let go of this need and this desire to be perfect. I choose to let go of any guilt that I feel when I put my needs first. I choose to let go of any guilt that I feel when I choose to put my needs first. I know there's a lot in those words, and some of those statements resonate much more loudly than others with each of us. But the common theme is we all have stuff we need to let go of. And it's not physical stuff. Most of it's mindsets, thought patterns that hold us back. So here, in the light and the energy of this incredible full moon last night, just commit to let it go. And before we start filling ourselves up, let's just sit here in quiet for just a few breaths and really seal that commitment. I'll say them each just one more time, just all in a row, and you see what resonates with you and where your commitment needs to be. I choose to let go of any lingering stories that do not serve me any longer. I choose to let go of making others comfortable at my expense. I choose to let go of things at home and at work that are not mine to control. I choose to let go of the need and the desire to be perfect. And I choose to let go of any guilt that I feel when I put my needs first. And so maybe as you are breathing with me, when you exhale, just make it big. Let the breath just go, symbolizing your commitment. One more breath in. And let it go. And now I'd invite you to picture that moon up in the sky last night. It's shining in our sky tonight, still looking really full. And even though you can't see it, I know you know what it looks like. There's that night of the full moon when the moon just looks bigger. And you think your imagination is playing tricks on you, but it just is bigger. And so let's harness that energy, harness that light, and fill ourselves up. So here today, in this moment, I choose to be filled with grace. I choose to be filled with grace. And here in this moment, I choose to be filled with acceptance. I choose to be filled with acceptance. I choose to be filled with joy. I choose to be filled with joy. And I choose to be filled with hope. I choose to be filled with hope. I choose to embrace my capacity as a strong and compassionate human being. Listen to that again. I choose to embrace my capacity as a strong and compassionate human being. And here in this moment, I choose light. I choose light. And again, we're going to just sit with these. And there may be one that really resonates with you. I hope they all resonate. And what I'd like you to do is, as I read them just once more, focus on the breath in. Fill yourself up to the point that you feel like your chest is about to burst with all the incredible energy you're bringing in. But see if there is one that needs to be your commitment in this moment tonight. Here in the light of the big full moon, I choose to be filled with grace. I choose to be filled with acceptance. I choose to be filled with joy. I choose to be filled with hope. I choose to embrace my capacity as a strong and compassionate human being. And I choose light. And so I would invite you, wherever you are, lying or seated, just allow your hands just to come to rest either on your lap or next to you on the ground, and turn them up. And just open up your palms, let the fingers lightly open. And let the left hand represent what you are releasing. And let the right hand represent what you are receiving. Both hands open, willing to let go, and willing to receive. And let's just breathe together just a few more times in the quiet. Just let the sound of the chime bring you back to the space that we're sharing, a space that is filled with grace and acceptance, joy and hope, and capacity and light. And as we prepare to close our time and enter this new week, whatever challenges it will bring, because it will, remember, the power is within each of us. The choice is within each of us. What do we let go of? And what do we fill ourselves up with? The world is going to try to influence those decisions, but you've sealed the commitment tonight of the things or thing you need to release, and the choices you're making about what do you want to bring into you. Don't let the world determine it. You decide. Be inspired by the big full moon. Let it be your reminder. The Sanskrit word for peace is shanti, and so I'll close us tonight with just 3 times the word peace. Om, shanti, shanti, shanti. Om, peace, peace, peace.